Right now, I want to focus on the customer profile. Now, we have learned how to shift hue, how to do levels, how to do make something black and white. Because the images need to go with our mood page, correct? This is a mood board. Now, let's just say I look back to my customer profile and I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe this needs to look a little bit like the images behind is looking a little too bright. But I did it that way at that point. So the same thing. You do Command U or Control U, and you take saturation down. And maybe I want it to be more red, and there you go, done. I just I just manipulated the whole image. This is what it was before. This is what it was after. It's up to you. Right now, I don't want to put those revisions because I like how it is. Now, I find it is 4 images. I'm okay with this. I don't think I need anything else. Okay? It can be even. Excuse me. So, hey, thank you. Thank you. And it can be what you guys think is best. You can put more images if you want. You can put less images. It just needs to make sense. Don't just plop images just because it's just the easiest way. Try to see what works for this. Okay, perfect. I need to add text to this to explain my customer very briefly. There's no need a paragraph or anything, but okay, so this is what I'm gonna do. I go to the T right here. You see the little T? The Times New Roman T is your text. You click here, and you notice on top, everything has changed. You see that? Okay. You're gonna click somewhere. I'm gonna click right here. This just shows you a preview of what the text will look like. It's not what you write, it's just the preview. Don't worry about that. So what I'm gonna do, right now you notice that I have that brown from my swatches. That's okay, we're gonna change that in a bit because your text color doesn't change because of your boxes here. If I were to make this red, it's not gonna make it red. Oh, it does make it red now. Oh well. But it's because I selected, I think. Hold on a second. Look, there you go. If I were to make this, exactly. So it doesn't make it this light. But if I were to go into this box on top where it's right next to the text options, it should change the color if I select it again. Oops, sorry. So there you go. Now you can really change it. Okay? So always go by this color for text color, not the other one around that's here. That's like more the color palette. That's for objects, that's for everything else. So now I'm just gonna write customer profile. I find that it's easiest to do a title separately here, correct? And then I'm just gonna add another text, but this is what I'm gonna do. If you select text and you click and drag, you create a text box right there. Why am I creating a text box? It's just easier to align because I want my customer profile to align with a picture. My decision on this one is just easier for everybody. Okay, and maybe you see right here, it's very similar to text sizing. It goes by points. So maybe I just want smaller points. I want 12 points. That's what most people use anyways for writing papers. These are familiar to you. What's the point size? You know what's bold. You know what's underlined. The only difference is that it's on the top. Okay? Okay, perfect. So then my customer profile is H. Actually, for our purposes, I think I need to make it bigger so you guys can see from the back. So there you go. H will be, sorry you guys, because the things that I changed it has my other presets. So H will be 35. Occupation, editor. Salary. Let me change it to black so you guys can see it too. La, 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 la. Salary, we're gonna aim high, 110K to 155K. Why not? A little blurb of what she does. So she loves, like, a little blurb, like what does she define herself? In her busy lifestyle, she enjoys traveling. And you notice as soon as I click enter, everything's boxed in. So I don't have to click enter, it just does it regularly, okay? So let me change this font actually into red so you guys can see it. Maybe a green. Yes, for you guys can see it easily. You notice that like it does it for me. This little dash is connecting the words for me already without me doing much. Instead of me entering and then I'll have to take it out, and you'll see what I mean a bit. That's why you do the text box. In her busy lifestyle, she enjoys traveling and okay, that's it. And well-tailored clothes. Due to work, you notice that already when I write? Work is not coming out of the text box, it's in the text box. Due to work, she attends a lot of functions. That's it. What does that mean about my customer? We know that what she makes, we know she's an editor. She does enjoy travel, which I do have pictures of travel. She does, due to work, she attends a lot of functions. That means whatever aesthetic I have, it looks more like a work appropriate environment kind of clothing. Because you're not gonna go, like there's different ways. Like my image here of these types of dresses, not so bad. But I think I might have to change it. Maybe change the functions, but love the nightlife. There you go. Now she's back to my customer page. You understand? Because she's not going to a function with this. She's going to night. Okay, but enjoys the nightlife. Okay. Now, I made this green for a reason. Now, why did I create a text box? If you see, you see the little markers right here, the control box, right? Look what I do when I stretch it out. It does it for me, okay? Hold on a second. Look what happens. You see the little, if you're in the text, you see what happens here? Look, bigger and smaller. Without me doing anything else. It adjusts it for me. That's okay. That's why I'm telling you to use text box. I don't need anything else. Maybe at most 2 sentences for your customer profile. I do need to know her age, I do need to know her occupation, and I need to know her salary. Okay? Now, if I click and I just select it, I need to be in text for me to change the color of the text. I cannot be in select. You notice how that I need you to look at the top of the screen right here. This is text, and you can see I have color option. When I get out of text, it goes away. Does that make sense, guys? Only way to revise text is to be in text. Okay? Okay. Perfect. And now we know how the bounding box works too. Now, I want this to be black text, and that's what I do. I just changed it. Okay? I also want this customer profile. While I'm in text, for sure, selecting text, I go to the other text, which is customer profile, to go in it and change the color to black. Now, if we put select, you notice we have the little controls. I need this to be smaller. I just click and drag. Now, you have to be careful when you click and drag, guys, because look, you see there's diagonal ones. Diagonal one means the whole image. And if I press shift, which I am shift, not shift, it does it proportionally. But if I do it in the middle, look what happens. It gets skewed. You see that? There's a huge difference. Try not to get everything skewed. So I just want to make it smaller. Another way to make a text smaller is, let's click on the other layer. We go back to text. Is not using the direct select tool or free transform. Is clicking into the text, selecting all of it, and really seeing what works. That's 30 font. That's too big. Now, if you have a project and you're not really sure what's the font at all, if you highlight this point right here, and with your arrows go up and down, look what happens. You're not doing much. You're just seeing what fits best. You see that? Perfect. I think I'm gonna go for like a 22. And then I think this is it. But I don't know, you guys can notice I can barely read my occupation right now. Barely read it. What do? Remember that I mentioned we need to play with opacities. We need to play with drop shadows, correct? Okay, guess what? Your text layer, you can do drop shadows too. So let's do this one. You can double click it. And you drop shadow, but it's a little too much drop shadow in mine. So I'm just gonna rail it in. Just enough, that's okay. I also noticed, also another thing too, guys, you notice that I have Taylor written wrong? Oops. If you select all of it and you control or that's left click, you can spell check spelling in Photoshop. Okay? So please make sure to, that's okay. And that's it. So please make sure to always spell check. You can also do it in Photoshop, so you can do it. I still don't see this. This is better, but it's still not that better. Sometimes when images are so rich, maybe I need a layer underneath that is a white layer. I'm gonna put it like Etch F5. And I'm not saying to, oh, sorry. And I'm not, oh yeah, I did do this. So I'm not saying for you guys to just make it all white. No, that defeats the purpose. Defeats the purpose. Right on top, we know that there's opacity. Let me just play with the opacities and make that like 20% or something. You can read it now. You can select, since everything's a layer, I can click on this, press shift and select all of them and just move it. I think that looks better already. You see that? I created it. Maybe I want something. Now, what happens if this font is not it? I recommend, by the way, for fonts, I'm not playing with fonts that much right now because it gets to be a much bigger thing. You're allowed to play with fonts if you want to, and for this project, but try to not use any other fonts, any new fonts outside of Adobe, okay? And I will tell you why. Because if someone opens this file in a computer that does not have the font information, it takes it away, and then it goes into the most default font ever, which is Times New Roman. It doesn't look cute. Okay. There you go. You have my customer profile. Very straightforward. I can still see the images in the background. But maybe I change my mind again. And I tell myself, you know what, Crystal? I need this only in one little square. That's fine. Guess what I do? I click on the layer that I'm working on. with my text, because I'm gonna change the text box. Remember guys, you see that little text box? And I change it back. Look at that. That's it. Change it ring, change it forward. I think I like it better here, by the way. So then I can go back, select all of the layers that I'm working on, and just bring it over here. What happens with the white section? If I direct select it, it's not a text box, so I don't need to go to text for this. I can shift it and make it even bigger all over that image. Very different layout now. You see that difference now? Play with the layout, guys. Make it interesting. Maybe, and I'm still thinking, you know what? This font, you can barely notice it still. Maybe it needs to be bold. If I go into text again, make sure to select all of the text inside. Go to bold. Better. I can actually read it. Anyone can read it now. Okay? And that's it. And apply, and we save, and we're done. You can, your custom profile just needs to have images and a little blurb. I'm emphasizing that this blurb cannot be more than 2 sentences. I don't need five paragraphs, just at most 2 sentences, maybe 3. Okay? Because the whole page should be able to speak to you. The mood page should speak to you. Okay, she likes the nightlife. No, I get now why she has those other images. Oh, I understand why, if I give this the salary, I understand why such expensive situations here, right? Now, same thing with age. It looks around 35. It does. That's what I'm saying, okay? Okay.